Hi, my name is John Light, and I've spent over 20 years working throughout all corners of the recruiting world. Our podcast, Drowning in the Tech Talent Pool, is a resource to help you stay afloat and get ahead of your competition. Hi, and welcome to Drowning in the Tech Talent Pool. I'm your host, John Light. I'm also the president of Sabretooth Tech Recruiting, and I love talking with interesting people, dealing with interesting topics that give me an opportunity to learn. And I think it's important for all of us to have an opportunity to learn. So when I had a chance to meet and talk with Anna Belova about augmented reality and where the technology is going, I thought it would be a really smart idea to have her on our podcast. So welcome, Anna. Thanks so much for joining us. And
hi, John.
Oh, it's okay. Go ahead.
I just want to say it's a pleasure to me to be here today and share my knowledge and some thoughts about it. And thank you for the invitation.
No, happy to, because I'll be honest, and for anyone who listens, although this is like classic how I function, I don't know if it's just being that I'm a little bit older than a lot of the people I work with, and I grew up watching Columbo and shows like that on TV where he seems like he's a little in the dark, doesn't know what's going on, but somehow he always asks the right question, or he digs around and he finds out and solves the mystery. But I'm curious to know, and I'm hoping you can share with us a couple of things to get started. Number one, how did you get from wherever you started to where you are today? Because I know it's a great story, and I think it's something that will resonate and inspire some folks out there. But also, can you take a moment, and for people who don't really deal in the space, what is the big difference or differences, not just between augmented reality and virtual reality from a technological standpoint, but also from a practical application standpoint?
Oh, that's a good question. So in the first and the second, it's not like about two sentences for reply, but I try to be shortly but productive. So the first, about my story. I'm working in augmented reality since 2015. It's a long time, about like 8 years. And I was one of the person who started to work on this technology like just beginning. And it was a great time. From one hand, it was a big challenge because when you go to the street and ask people, do you know about AR or something like that? People was really curious and really surprised about this technology. But from another hand, like an entrepreneur, I need to find a way how to make it successful. And we had a lot of experience. So honestly, we will fall in love in technology, and we saw a huge implementation in the different industries. And we just trying to find a way how we can make it available and how we make it successful from the end users, but also from the business side. And our first venture was about creation and production books with augmented reality for children.
Okay.
And it looks like you have a physical book, you scan a page through a mobile app and see how your characters or dinosaurs comes to life. Or like your character in the coloring comes to life in the same colors that you used. And it was amazing. So we sold about 15 million copies worldwide.
Wow.
And now it's selling in 70. Yeah, thank you. I can definitely say that millions of children in the world, we explain what is a space, what is a dinosaurs, and how we can be creativity with a new technology. Yeah, and now it's selling in 75 countries in 27 languages, and we have a lot of partners who sell these products. But in our DNA, we are not only a company who would like to create something, we're also a technological company, and we have a deep knowledge about technology like computer vision or AI. And we're trying to find a way how we can make it available for everyone, because we understand and we deeply believe that AR, like one of the immersive technology, will be everywhere. So, and 2 years ago, we launched a platform that allows everyone to create any AR experience without technical skills and using AI. It's like a Canva, but for augmented reality.
Okay.
And you don't need to be a professional. You just need to be a creative person who want to add augmented reality for your goods, products, and like a space, marketing campaigns, and ours.
What's the name of the platform?
mywebar.com. And so it's like a simple editor.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it has advanced editor. If you're a programmer, you can customize something,
Okay.
but also it's for usual people, like for marketers, designers, or managers who want to have new skills and want to use augmented reality from their business and like existing clients.
So mywebar.com. Is that right?
Yes,
okay,
exactly.
Good. Well, well, you're talking about the platform and what people can do with it. I thought, well, we better make sure we get the URL out there because, you know, I don't know. I grew up with books in my hands, right? And that was, I won't say it's the AR of yesteryear, but that was, you had to let your imagination run. And as you were talking about scanning a page from a children's book and bringing it to life, or a coloring book and bringing that to life, and the colors that a little kid just put in between the lines or over the lines, as the case may be. The first thing that came to my mind was, wow, so it's kind of like taking a pop-up book that's more real. You know, you have this thing that pops up and it reinforces an idea they just read or a concept, you know, like how does a star work? Or, you know, what about the Milky Way? Or what do cows eat? Or whatever it might be, right? And there's something I think very useful about the visual aspect along with reading that would resonate from an educational standpoint.
So it's a good point, but you can't imagine how many different experiences right now creating in our platform. And it's also sometimes surprised me because I honestly, I usually thought that I can imagine anything with AR, but sometimes our users really surprised me. I can give you some examples. So the most popular area for using AR today, it's of course about marketing.
Okay.
But it's not also about marketing campaign, like when you can scan and see some characters or avatars and you can like make some quest or gaming with them. But it's also about when AR started to be like a new function from a product using on a packaging, for example.
Okay.
It's like you can scan a package and from the end user, you can see not only just a fun experience, but also you can have some instruction, how you can use your coffee maker, for example, or how you can make a right tea from the existing tea, or it's like when you can see some funny experience with characters and play some game. So different. It depends what usually brand want to reach from the customer. I mean, like increase loyalty or increase customer experience or make packaging like one of the place where we can interact and talk with the end customer. So different cases. The second scenario, but more magic on it, that people usually think that augmented reality is mostly for fun. But from the business side, imagine when in this case, you can reach and you can solve more business challenge when you can't imagine. So for example, I give an example. Imagine you're McDonald's and you have your digital channels like mobile app or website, and you know a lot about your audience. But if I'm going to McDonald's and just buy a burger and go out, you don't know me. You can't retarget me. You can find me on the social media or others because I'm not user your digital channel. But if I'm scan a package and you see AR experience, you can gather my digital data, not personal data, of course, only digital data. And after that, you can retarget me and find me in the digital social media. And in this case, you can expand and transform your digital audience from your offline audience. And this is something really huge and new in the augmented reality because In this case, this technology not only provide the customer experience, but also help to solve a different business challenge that every business has in their everyday life. And it's just one of examples. So from another hand, we also had an experience when a company, like from industrial side, make some remote assistance or remote instruction from new equipment from the new employees. Because if you have a new equipment and it's really expensive, it will be easy for you and less from the economy side, from the money side, to add augmented reality instruction when explain and train your new employees every time from like using like personal lesson or human lesson.
Right.
So, different experience, honestly. I also remember a case from one restaurant on Thailand when we use augmented reality on their menu, but not just only from visualization a dish, but like a part of dish. I mean, like we combine history, we combine culture, we combine some natural character and make it like a part of dish that you eat. And in this case, you go to a restaurant not just only to have a dinner, but also to have some entertainment with your dinner. And for my case, it's awesome.
Well, it really sounds like to me and I guess this is the way I can categorize it in my brain is that when I hear VR, it's about putting you in a digital world. But when I hear AR, it's about bringing the digital world to my reality.
Perfect explanation.
Okay.
Honestly, one of the best that I saw.
Oh, copyright, John. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So let me ask you this, because, drowning in the tech talent pool, a big part of what we're about, because, we fund it and sponsor it out of Sabretooth, is the intersection of tech talent and your experience, your career, your company, your whatever. And I'll be frank with you. You hear all the world's a buzz about generative AI and which LLMs you're using, and now with OpenAI's let's just say board collider just blew things up the past here recently. And you hear a lot about VR. You don't hear a lot. I don't hear a lot about AR. In fact, you're the first AR person I've had on the podcast. So it's kind of like, all right, this is cool. This is something new to explore. So I'm curious, that intersection of talent and tech, what kind of challenges do you find yourself running into or facing when it comes to getting what you need to bring AR more to the forefront, both in business applications, educational applications, whatever the application might be?
Yeah, it's a good question, because I think we will never find one right answer from this question. But I can give you some example and question too. Imagine that. So you it can be compared with the internet, I guess.
Okay.
Remember the time that we didn't have internet in our life, and we have one pattern of behavior: how we shop, how we entertain, how we communicate, and others.
Right.
AR technology, and this is a difference from VR. It's like a new additional level in our environment. And from one hand, it means that it will definitely change our patterns of behavior, how we communicate, how we shop, or something like that. From another hand, it opens up a huge new capabilities for brands, how we can interact from their end customers.
Okay.
For example, you have your website. And if I'm going to your website, I'm just open a browser on my laptop and see everything in 2D, right? Just like flat images. But imagine that, okay, today you have mobile phones or tablets, but I feel everyone will agree that tomorrow, not just exactly tomorrow, but in the close future, we will have AR glasses. And when I will open a website, I will have an opportunity to be inside the website. And it means that it will be another perception, how we can interact with the brand elements, how we can deep into your brand or something like that. It will definitely change the first way how we communicate with brands and after that, how we can shop, how we can entertain, how we can communicate for each other and others. And step by step, it just a challenge to imagine what we can change right now and how we can explain and how we can make our conversation more deeply with our end users.
Yeah.
Because about the numbers, because everyone loves numbers. So the average time that people spend in a one AR experience, it's more than 3 minutes. 3 minutes. In the commercial video, it's about 15 seconds. And this is the first point when all marketers will need to know, because if I have attention my end users no less than 3 minutes, I can have a lot of scenario how we can interact.
Yeah.
And we also, for example, know, and when our numbers, when, for example, the Generation Z, it's like 30% of the world's population now. From the last data, more than 92% of them want to use augmented reality in the everyday life.
Huh.
And how we can like don't see it. It's impossible. It's a people who want to use it in the everyday life, in the communication, shopping, interaction with brands, entertainment, and others. For example, today, every third American use augmented reality no less than once a month.
Really?
For example, yes. So you can think that you don't use augmented reality, but generally you use it. So,
well, give an example, because I'm thinking about, in my world, my professional world, when it comes to talent acquisition, there's really two schools of thought. There's outbound and there's inbound. Now, inbound, you're putting ads out and attracting people in. I liken it to putting a net in the river to catch fish. And you're going to have to weed some of those fish out and toss them back. And hopefully you got the right ones. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. It takes time. The net has to soak. Then there's spearfishing, where it's very outbound centered, very targeted, very focused. And I just had this little shiver run through me. How interesting would it be for a person to interact with an ad and think about applying, and then AR kicks in, and now they're having some of that brand or some of that positioning of the company, of its culture, kind of coming out of the ad to them. That could be a very interesting proposition. Now, it doesn't solve the problem of the fact that most application processes are onerous and discouraging. And I think I read in Harvard Business Review or some other place not too long ago that something like 92% of everyone who starts an application in an ATS, an applicant tracking system, don't finish it. Could AR help? Could AR take that 92% and turn it into 50%, for example? That
definitely can.
That would be very interesting, and maybe even having an AR that's interactable to the degree of, having a conversation for an application. Here's my upload, here's my data, my URL to my resume or LinkedIn profile. Now, here's my conversation about this is the kind of job I'm looking for. What do you think? And so you have this combination AR, AI. That could be really intriguing. Maybe not for, people like me who are like, I'd rather have a pencil and a piece of paper. But, like you said, the Gen Zers and stuff coming up that want that sort of interaction where they're not interfacing with a person directly, but with the tech that's out there. Yeah.
So generally, I always say that just one main stop factor about using AR in our everyday life. It's about our imagination. Because from the technology side, we can create and we can use everything that we want. But the main question that we need to have before ourselves, it's what kind of goals we would like to reach, what kind of approach we would like to use, because afterward we can understand how we can use technology side from using it. Because believe me, today we have, for example, more than 400 different mechanics for interaction with augmented reality content. And it's not only about combination with AI, besides it's also important and huge, but it's really huge cases from training, education, simulation, but also about adding some more information. And you mentioned, for example, like in portfolio, it's also one of the cases, application cases. For example, if you are like designer, you can share your portfolio, not just from the old stuff, like in PDF file or something like that, but you also can create like a virtual gallery and you just send a link from your new colleague or new partner. And you just send a link from Messenger and I will see a lot of like a virtual gallery around me. And because it's about how our brain works, it will be more successful in compared to like standard methods.
Well, it certainly gives you a chance to amplify interaction, right? Because you know how it is when you have people interacting with people, somebody gets annoyed, somebody's tired, somebody's having a bad day, somebody's blood sugar's low. But when you're interacting with AR, backed by AI, whoever you're interacting with is always going to be patient, probably, unless some coder was feeling a little frisky, you know, and you know it's always going to be complimentary, you know, and it's always going to be somewhat genteel and hey, you thought about this instead of doing that, you know, and it's always going to try for the upsell, and it's always going to try to pull money out of your pocket if it's selling something, you know. We've always got that out there, but what an amplifier that you're relying on one person's mood and not two, because all sales, almost all sales are emotionally driven. And then we look to buttress that with justification. Oh, I did this because blah, blah, blah. When it was really about, hey, it made me feel nice to pull the trigger and spend X amount of dollars or whatever. So that's
exactly
quite interesting to me. And I, you know, the only downside I see to it, and it's just my opinion, is that we lose something when we don't have enough interpersonal interaction between people. You know, and I think we can set false expectations. So I'm wondering maybe if there ought to be some parameters built into tech that are something like every once in a while, I'm going to say something snarky or roll my augmented reality eyeballs at the customer for being so silly. So they can feel like they're actually interacting with another person who's got, you know, temperament.
So it's a good question. So we first be honest. We all are living for emotions, and every hour day it's about emotions. We are happy, we are sad, we are like bad mood or good mood. It's all about emotions. And if we can add more emotions for our interaction with our partners, people, employees, I don't know, like clients, it always be more successful. Because from another hand, everyone also just human who want to be, to get more emotions every day. From another hand, we should agree that every technology, every time had a lot of concerns around it. Like we can see bad things or we can see a good sense. It's just only about discussion. Because again, so back to internet, when internet came to our life, a lot of people said online shopping, it will never work. But come on.
Told you.
Now it's, yeah. So now it looks funny. Yeah. But today you can't imagine your life without online shopping or Amazon. We'll be honest. So the same will happen with augmented reality, and it happens right now. And a lot of companies, I mean, like really major tech companies like Apple, Google, Microsoft, or others, already has some development and augmented reality like a part of a strategy. It means we can agree, we can be sad, but we will have it in our life.
Yeah.
And it's our responsibility to find a way how we can make it productive, successful, and really interesting for us and for our, I don't know, like friends, partners, clients, whatever. But again, so I think the main important question for everyone who want to be involved in this area, it's like the same discussion about AI. So will AI replace my work, my job, or something like that, or it can make me stronger? The same thing with AR. For example, for my side, I feel that augmented reality just only opens up new capabilities for everyone. I give an example. Imagine that like you are just a practical example, because we can talk a lot of, but be more practical. You want to create something for with immersive technology from your business. And for example, yesterday, you need to have a special team with programmers, special team with designers, and you can hire it or you can like order from a third party, but it's like an additional cost, of course. And sometimes it's expensive. Today, first, you can use no-code platform like us, and you don't need to be a programmer. You don't need code. You just need to open your browser and create, drag and drop everything what you want. But from another hand, especially using AI, we also have a technology that we call text to 3D, when you can using just only simple text prompt and in a few minutes get a full 3D model, but you can use in your AR experience.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, thank you. So it's not cool. It's insane, because yesterday you need to have a designer, 3D modelers, animator, and you need to have like 3-5 days for creation 3D model. Today you just need only text prompt and you have existing 3D model. And it means that you, like a person, had a new skill. You just need to use your imagination. You don't need to like be professional from the different programs.
Wow.
And so in general, in the whole, I think that augmented reality, we call it like an supervision for human. Like you can be a superhero because you have a supervision. You can see what never exists in the real world. But it has a part of it. On the second way, you can create anything, and you don't need to have a special long time for learning or training on it. You just need to using all capabilities from AI and no-code solutions. And this is insane. Sorry, I don't know how I can say it in our way, but it's like I'm not a programmer, for example. I never code, but today, I can create any AR experience just only 3 minutes or maybe 1 hour if I want to make some complex experience. But it's amazing. I mean, like, for example, if you are a business from the main street, like a small coffee shop or like bakery, you have just only you, maybe 1 more person who assist you. And of course, you are not a designer, you are not a programmer, but today you can have interactive menu with augmented reality experience just only for 1 day. And this definitely change again. So our life, and we see that a lot of companies who develop like AR glasses or something like that.
Just for that purpose.
Also, we are like, just.
It's just great stuff. I mean, I can tell. I can see the excitement on your face and hear it in your voice. Let me ask you this: one of the fundamental changes being pushed out into the market right now? Or should I say one of the fundamental emotions being pushed in the market right now is fear. Fear of being displaced or replaced by technology, specifically generative AI. If somebody were looking to upskill or reskill and maybe take a little bit different path, related but a little bit different, maybe it's in the tech world, maybe it's in the marketing world. I don't know which route it would need to be, but what would be the best way for them to explore the AR space?
So it's a good question. We first, I of course can recommend some like online courses from the basic stuff. By the way, we also have one in our platform because we understand that in augmented reality, it's not only about technical skills, it's also about your imagination skills and your business skills, how to use AR right from your business goals. But generally, imagine that augmented reality, it's like a new level on your world. And you can invent or you can imagine, and you should do it, how you can use it for new communication way. It's mostly about imagination. So from the technical side, people always care about, I'm not a programmer, I don't know how we can use it or something like that. But believe me, the best users for augmented reality, it's managers, marketers, designers, because they have more perception and more challenges for interaction from their customers.
Okay.
And the first question that people can understand and can ask themselves, what kind of business goals I want to reach using technology. And after that, you will find a way how you can do it, because it's just like, for example, when you walk, it's a one way, but when you had a skill, for example, swim, your map of your potential travels,
it changes.
More huge.
Yeah. I got you.
Yeah, this is the same. You just can, so, and it's also about like your knowledge, what kind of cases can be created, because people usually, so for example, in our platform, about 70% of our users didn't have any AR experience before they started to use us. And this is amazing, because for me, it means that people try to find something. We are looking something, we want to use it, but we just need to know how.
Right.
And we collect, for example, a lot of cases in our library to show different examples. It's not like in templates, not only templates, but it's also about to help you to opens up your imagination and see what is capabilities from the technology you can see and you can provide from your users. But again, so in this case with AI as well, it's not only about your technical skills, it's about your creativity skills. This is more important.
So give us the website again. If somebody wanted to come look at that library and be inspired, where would you send them?
mywebAR.com. We have a learn section. When you can see different cases. And we also, so I also publish some articles on Forbes, on our Entrepreneur. We have a lot of cases from our partners in our blogs and others in our social media. So it's not like a closed library, it's an open library.
Just come in, look around, take a peek, because I mean, having an industry segment or sector that is primed for growth, where a person can go to being non-technical but being creative, that can have a lot of utility for a lot of people. I appreciate you sharing that. It's just great insight, because not everything, and I try to tell people this, that I look at IT and tech as different things, but tech is very dependent on IT. It's just not IT in and of itself. And there's a reliance on being innovative, being creative, being willing to take a leap, that ITs, they're usually not willing to take that leap. We want to invest and we want to have this and we want to have blah, 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 blah. This is much more, when you start dealing with this sort of tech, I think it's much more hey, we have an opportunity to be creative and to innovate something. So let's go be creative. Let's try different things out. Let's simulate what this could look like and explore. And I think technology today, there's a very much an element of being a pioneer. And that's one of the cooler features personally. But let me ask you this, because obviously you are a big fan, a big aficionado of AR and everywhere it's going. You've built your business around it, and you have all kinds of accolades. And if somebody wanted to find out more about you, they could look up Anna Belova on LinkedIn and see your profile and be impressed. But I'm curious, when you kind of close the door on that or pull the curtain shut on that, when you look at your own life, what really drives you in terms of what are you passionate about? Like a project you're really behind, or an endeavor you're really behind that you do that may or may not really be the professional side of things, but is where you put your heart and your resources.
Oh, it's a perfect question. From my education, I'm a Master of Arts and Human Science.
Okay.
And when I started my higher education, I had the chance to choose what really interesting and inspire me. And I spent a lot of time in my university to explore arts, music, literature, culture in different countries, philosophy, history. So it's like, I can say that I really love explore the world. I love traveling. I love hiking. I love arts and every type of arts, because for me, the human life, it's not only about emotion, but it's also about imagination. It's about self-development, and it's about if we can make ourselves better, we can make a world around us a little bit better. And when you explore the world and see something new, you can share it and you can open up new capabilities for everyone who with you. And this is really inspiring. When I saw, I really never split my personal life and my business life, because I started to do this business when I saw how children reacted about live dinosaurs on their hand.
Right.
And in this moment, I understood that I can share this knowledge from millions of children in the world and change their life. And when I see how new person started like business like me, or using technology in everyday life and making better, this is why I wake up every morning. Because for me, it's not only about technology side, it's about how we can make the world around us a little bit helpful, interesting, interactive, and make more freedom and more time with our family, friends, ourselves, and ours.
It sounds like it's how we can make our human experience just a little bit better every day.
Yeah.
And I think
Exactly.
that's a great goal, a great thing to wake up with every morning. And I thank you so much for joining us on Drowning in the Tech Talent Pool and sharing your insights and knowledge into AR, because I think it's something that it needs to resonate and bounce around a little bit in the marketplace. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for a great conversation. I'm really enjoying, and I'm also make some notes about your quote. So
well,
it looks like
we'll have fun. And I was just kidding.
Maybe you never discussed about yeah. Yeah.
Well, and I just the whole copyright thing about that comment earlier, you just discount that. Use it if you want to. I don't care. About bringing the bringing the artificial reality out of the artificial and the digital into the real life. I think that's that's an intriguing way of from my mind to wrap itself around it. Because when I heard AR, I didn't know exactly what to think. I mean, I knew maybe kind of an academic level, but it's you've really helped bring it home for me, and I much appreciate it. Anna, thanks so much, and I'm sure you and I will be talking again sometime in the future.
You've been listening to Drowning in the Tech Talent Pool. This podcast is sponsored by Sabertooth. Sabretooth improves the quality of hire and speeds up the time to fill specialized machine learning, data engineering, data science, and developer roles, stretching tech recruiting budgets further by bringing the precision of retained search and the speed of contingent search to the market in one complete solution. Find out more at sbr2th.com and follow me, John Light, on LinkedIn. Thanks for listening.